Hey guys, welcome to the first lesson of the course. As you know, we're going to create a little bit of the design and an animation for a travel app. So before we jump into the design part and then the animation part, I wanted to talk a little bit about how travel apps often look, about a little bit about the UI design, and well, I could spend 1,000 hours showing you many images about travel apps, many reference for designing a travel app, but I chose some of the best I could find, some of the best I could look at, so that I could tell you a little bit about how travel apps often look on the internet or on any mobile. So, of course, on a travel app, the most important thing is the places. You have to show the places to the people, because if I want to travel to London, for example, I would choose London, and I want to know more about London, about the food, about the lodges, about the prices, or anything that I could use on that travel. So the travel app that we design have to be think it like if it was going to be for you. What would you want for a travel app to have? So when you get into the skin of the user, you are going to be more precise when designing a travel app. So for example, I have this design this travel app. You can see that we have the flag, the hotel, and the settings, and it shows how much it takes from one country to another, the prices, and you can buy the tickets from this travel app. We have this one. It's a little bit more minimalistic. We have this one, which is a little bit more of like a backpack travel. We have this one showing how many reviews, how many stars people give to a certain location. You can call, you can save as a favorite, and you have all the info about this place. You have this one, which I really like because I love the colors on this one, and it's very simple. You can make the reservation. You have some info about the place, the weather on that specific day. You have a calendar, so that's pretty neat. And you have this one, which is more like a hiking traveling app, and you can see that you have a profile and the places that you have traveled to. So these are really simple, and what I wanted to show in here is that first, on a travel app, of course, it's really important the pictures that you use, because if I want to travel to Germany, I want to see some nice pictures of Germany, because that's the way that the user is going to be called, that the user is going to be looking at that country. Because if I want someone to travel to Germany, of course I have to show them the best pictures I can about of Germany, because that's how they will fall in love of that place and save the ticket. And you can see in these travel apps, well, not this one, but on the rest of them, you can see that the images are really important, and that's actually common sense, because if you want to use a travel app, you are going to want to see pictures of the place that you want to travel to. And of course, it's really important to have some info about that place. If I want to travel to, I don't know, any country, I want to have some information. I want to have a little bit of history about that place, what they do, the weather, many things, because that's how they are going to be prepared for that travel. And of course, we have to think about the user interface design, because that's all that matters when we are designing any kind of app. That's a really important step, because we have to think about how the user is going to use the app, how the user is going to follow a path, a certain path on the traveling app or any kind of app. For example, we have to think that the user is going to log into our app, and he's going to want, or he or she is going to want to look for a place. So we have to design a search bar. We have to design everything on the app, thinking about how the user is going to follow a path inside of our app. So the user interface has to be designed according to that, because we have two things. We have the user interface and we have the user experience. The user experience is about the user having a good experience on our app, following a path that goes, if they want to travel to Germany, we have to make sure that the path from the login to the reservation to Germany is as smooth as possible, so that the user is going to want to use our app again and tell their friends about our app and anything else. So that's really important. That's all that matters on the user experience part. And the user interface is where we design everything. The graphic part of the app has to help so that the user experience is really good, because it doesn't matter how cool we design the experience, how cool we design the wireframe of the app. If our design is ugly, if our design is not functional, it doesn't matter how cool we design the user experience, because the user is going to be like, oh no, I don't want to use that app because it's really annoying. I hate the buttons, the big buttons, and the colors they used or anything. We have to make sure that the user interface is designed properly for the user experience. For example, this one, you can see that all of them has a pretty different design. We don't have to follow a specific type of design. For example, this uses a lot of images and it looks pretty cool. And this one doesn't use almost any images, but almost everything is flat vector. This one is really like a Google app. This is pretty like Instagram. This resorts to illustrations, and this is pure flat vector, no images at all. And they all work. They are pretty different, but they all work in a certain way. So it doesn't matter what style do you use for your app, as long as it's functional and as long as it serves a purpose. When we are designing an app or a website and we are thinking about the user interface, we don't have to think about, oh, this would look cool in this, I want to use a cool design, I want to use a cool font. No, you have to think about that it looks good, but that it's functional, so that the user can serve a purpose. It serves a purpose for the user to get to from point A to point B. So that if you take a look at this, you can see that this is a very simple design, but it has what it has to have. And you can see here, despite it being all illustration and it looks super cool, it all has a purpose. We don't have anything that shouldn't be here. All of this serves a purpose. Every icon, every text, every button serves a purpose for the app. So that's what you have to take into account when designing a traveling app or a profile app or any app that you have to design. That's what you have to get into your mind. So that's enough talking for today, and now we're going to go to the really nice part, which is designing the app itself. So let's go to lesson number 2.